Hello all. In this particular video, I'm actually going to share some kind of an experiential insights pertaining to what are all the typical challenges that a Scrum Master or an Agile coach typically face in a service-based IT industry, and probably what could be the avenues of possibilities to overcome those particular challenges. So before I get into that particular LinkedIn article wherein I have already described these kind of typical challenges and the possible or potential ways to overcome it, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Balaji. I have somewhere close to 22 years of experience in IT, and somewhere close to 14 plus, or rather 15 years of experience in agile uh, driven projects or engagements. I have played multiple roles in the past in terms of Scrum Master, Senior Scrum Master, RTE, Enterprise Agile Coach, Team Level Agile Coach, and I also come from a solid project management program and portfolio management background. So I have already played the role of a project manager, program manager somewhere in 2012 or 13, 10 years back. And after that, I am more into the coaching and agile transformation kind of a consulting role. Okay. Now, before I go ahead, before I go ahead and then share you that particular article, and let us keep going into the video, I just wanted to tell some of the important points to begin with. Okay. So first of all, this particular video will be more suitable for those people who are working in a service based IT industry. If you are working from a product company, or if you are working in a captive unit, probably the challenges will be slightly different, because the fundamental business operating model of an IT service industry is something typically different from a product company, right? So we cannot expect the same flavor of challenges across the varieties of a, multiple varieties of a IT industry. So that particular point, I just want to make it very clear. And this particular video is suitable for those people who are working who's working in a service driven IT organization. Okay. Now okay, let me go one by one. See, now the point here is, whenever you are actually called, or whenever you are actually joining the project or the engagement as a Scrum Master, or as a senior Scrum Master, or as a team level Agile coach, or even if you take the a case of a project manager or a program manager in a typical agile driven engagements, or a hybrid model of agile engagements, because much of the real time projects or programs typically run in a hybrid mode. Okay, when I say hybrid, I'm not actually talking about working from office plus working from home. No, no, I am talking about a plan driven approach like a waterfall model, combined with an adaptive approach called agile. That is the meaning of the word hybrid here. Going forward in this particular video, whenever I'm using the word hybrid, it is something like a waterfall model combined with agile in a selective manner, right? Depending upon the dynamics of the flow. Okay, so one of the challenge, or one of the typical scenario what I have seen is, generally you will be called as a scrum master, or as an RTE, or as an agile coach, or as a project manager into a particular project when the damage had already happened. Okay, okay, what did I meant by that? It is not a happy path scenario when you are joining the project itself. Some guy would have there as a project manager, maybe he has put down the paper, or he has not done his job in a okay, so he or she has not done the job in a due diligent manner, and now the project is in a bleeding state, means the project is in a red state. Now that project will be handed over to you, and then the client leadership team and your own parent organization will be expecting you to turn the tables within a very short span of time. Because if you take myself, in much of the engagements where I joined as an enterprise agile coach, or as an RTE, release train engineer, right, one of the role which is told in the scaled agile framework, safe implementation, or as a or when I was working as a scrum master or as a senior scrum master in the past, much of the engagements I have called inside the engagement to do my job when that engagement or project is already in a bleeding state. So first of all, I need to do certain things to bring down the fire, bring down the heat of the engagement, then get on to the normal mode of rhythm. Then I need to take the project to the next level. So it is like saying, hey, you need to be a fitness coach for a guy who is already admitted in the ICU of the hospital. So what you need to do first? First of all, you need to do certain things by working to means the medical experts need to do certain things to bring him out of the ICU, then bring him out of the hospital by actually discharging him or her. Then we need to come up with a health improvement plan in terms of diet, fitness, exercise, blah, 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 right? Same thing happens in the IT engagements. The project is already bleeding, and now you joined as a project manager. You can't do much. Why? Because you also have only 24 hours per day, right? And that is where exactly your capability as an individual matters a lot. So it is not about a framework called a Kanban or Scrum or Safe or Less, Dad, Nexus, Spotify, or it is not about whether you are good in project program portfolio management. It is more about you as an individual. Do you have the ability to connect with people, to actually really understand the dynamics of the engagement and then operate within the constraints? And certain things, no, it will be very difficult for me to share over a or no over a YouTube video, but I'm just trying to do my best to give you the feel factor. Okay, so this is one of the challenge which I have seen. So, okay, so as part of the video, I am anyway going to show you that particular LinkedIn article, and then I'm just going to walk you through all the challenges what I had in mind. But then before getting into the article, I'm just trying to set the context over here, right? Okay, now if you get into the second challenge, right? So when I was working as a team level agile coach in many years back in some of the projects or engagements, what actually used to happen is I will be deputed as a client in a for a particular okay, I will be deputed as a coach tagged to a particular client, and I will try to do the assessment. I will try to create a coaching plan. I will facilitate a retrospective. I will create a transformation roadmap, and then no really try to help the team and all. Now, by the time the team picks up the rhythm, and by the time the team actually becomes more self-organized and cross-functional, and by the time I have done anything and everything to run the show in an autopilot mode, I will be deallocated from the project, saying project doesn't have a budgets, project doesn't have money, project doesn't have fund, but still they wanted to do, agile transformation. So the challenge what is see typically in a service based industry is, again and again and again you may need to what to tell is that you may need to have that difficult time once in 3 months or once in 4 months again and again, because whenever you are changing client, whenever you are changing the project, again you need to prove your capability, again the team is in new, and once again the project landscape is new, once again the ecosystem is actually new. So the initial 30 to 45 days will be literally going away in setting the stage for you to pick up the momentum itself. Then comes the actual task of coaching the teams and all, and sometimes you may not get explicit time to do the coaching. So in such cases I will be doing the coaching as part of the product backlog refinement, the planning of the sprint. So as part of the ceremonies itself, sometimes I tend to do the coaching. So all that I'm trying to say is, just to cut a long story short, in a service-based industry, whenever you are changing the project, whenever you are changing from client X to client Y, again and again you may need to set the ground and then uh, no, pick up the momentum, because the team is new, because the client is new, because the ecosystem has been new. Whereas in a product driven company or in a captive unit, probably you will be having a continuous stream of work, right? So once you are done with once you are done with this particular enhancement, probably you may need to going to the next set of version. Of course, here and there some modifications could be there, but proving your capability, setting the stage again, and because see, now you think practically, whenever you are trying to change the team, once again the team also need to do forming, storming, norming, performing. So you may need to reinvest your effort, your time and commitment again and again, right? So these are the top two things which I have in my mind. Now what we will do, because now I have set the stage for you till now I will get into the LinkedIn article, and then I will give you walkthrough of some other challenges which Scrum Master and Agile coaches typically have, and how to overcome it. Okay, one second, hold on for a moment. I'll just try to share the screen. Okay, so you go here. I have written a LinkedIn article, right? So if you just come down a bit, 1 minute. So if you just come down a bit, why life is difficult in general for Scrum Masters and Agile coaches in service-based organizations and how to overcome it. Okay. So if you just go through this particular, so you can go to Google and then type the same heading, why life difficult for Scrum Master Agile Coach. And then if you put plus LinkedIn, or if you put my name Balaji, it is anyway going to give the direct link to this particular LinkedIn article. And when I'm going to upload this particular video on the YouTube, I am anyway going to share you the URL of this particular article, like no, either in the comment section or in the description. Okay, so for now we'll just focus on getting the context over here. Okay, now the problem what I see, or the challenge what I see in terms of Scrum Master and Agile coaches, they are expected to exhibit, they are expected to have a circle of influence on the people, on their stakeholders of the project, but then unfortunately they are not given the positional authority, because this is a servant leadership kind of a role, right? So you are supposed to exhibit your circle of influence without having a positional authority over there, right? So even in the JDs, right, which the companies send, there are some lines which I start seeing. Probably you may need to do this one, that one, this one, but you are not given the positional authority to get it done, right? So hope, because people who are really who are actually people who are actually doing this role can might as well resonate with what is that I am trying to say. Okay, now if you come below, so here I have written Scrum Masters and Agile coaches are most of the time getting onboarded or inducted into the project during the middle of the journey. So they are not necessarily from the beginning of the journey. So these people doesn't know really, guys, what is that you have written in the SOW? What is that you have written in the RFP? See, now the point is, if you take my YouTube videos, instead of preparing a beautiful PPT and then explaining you, it is better that I take a real-time article. It is better that I take a real-time article which is written out of my experience, and then I will walk you through. I don't believe in beautification of creating a PPT and then explaining through it, right? So because creating a PPT is something different from really getting things done hands-on. So if you see here, one of the challenge. Okay, so when I joined as an Agile coach, certain things which I generally do is I will be spending some time with the delivery manager or the project manager, program manager, to really sit with them and really understand what are the clauses of the SOW, what are the clauses of the RFP, right? Request for a proposal, and what are the clauses of a statement of work, right? So why am I doing this? Does any of the certification told me to do this? Absolutely no. Certifications are mostly designed for frameworks. Certifications are not really designed for doing your office work practically, right? So the point here is you need to understand the SOW. You need to understand right from the RFP phase what are the clauses written, then only you can do an effective coaching. If not, you will be doing generalized coaching. What you learn from your CSM, PSM certification, what you learn from your Safe Agilist or your scaled program consultant certification, those things are good to begin the journey, but not really to implement it as it is written over there, right? So you need to spend some time on the SOW and the RFP. Okay, now here I have just given an example over here. So what is that I have given here? You are expected to gain influence without exhibiting authority. So one of the example I have just given here, let's say you are traveling and you are actually traveling in the, let's say, be it a train or be it an airport, okay, on the way towards airport or something like that. And if one random guy comes and then no holds you and then asks you, hey guy, okay, can you just show your bag? Most likely we will be questioning back, hey, who are you to come and hold me, and why are you asking me to show my bag? But however, if a police officer or a security officer, if they come in their uniform, of course, and then no questions us, most likely we will say yes, because they are authority, because they have the authority to question us in these places like airport or railway station, if they are having a suspecting mind on us for whatever be the reason. So what am I trying to tell in this particular example is, gaining influence without authority is a very big challenge. And one way to gain influence without exhibiting authority is, you should be a problem solver. You should have the ability to see the problem of other people and try to solve it. Now, let me tell one thing. Many people have the aspiration to get better compensation. Many people have aspiration to actually climb up the career ladder, which is perfectly fine. But unfortunately, those people do not have the aspiration or that affinity towards problem solving. If you are not able to solve the problem, how are you expecting that organizations will give you leadership role? Because leadership is all about solving problems, right? So my say is that somehow you need to pick up that particular ability to influence people without exhibiting authority, which is one of the very important trait of a scrum master or as an agile coach. And believe me, no certification will teach you this. This is something, to some extent, these particular traits should be within you, or you should have been taken some kind of a mentoring or coaching or consultation with some mentor or an expert who had already done this. If not, it is very difficult to gain that capability to exhibit influence without authority, right? So I have just given some examples over here. Okay, now let me tell one more thing. See, some 3 to 4 years back, right, when I was working as an agile coach in some company, I was creating a coaching plan, and then I was actually doing agile maturity assessment and all. So what happened? My client was asking that, okay, where is the team's maturity level and all. Now, there we had some kind of a challenges in improving the maturity level of the team. Immediately, my delivery manager or a delivery head came there and then supported me and then asked a question to the client: do you want Balaji to improve in agile, or do you want the teams to improve in agile? Because we need to understand one thing. It is not about me knowing agile. I need to convey that I know agile to my teams and enable them and empower them to solve the problems, right? Agile coach and scrum master is not a role where you take your laptop and then sit in the corner of the office room, okay, and then try to do some work. It is not that kind of a role. It is a role which demands you to collaborate, communicate, coordinate, create consensus, enable people, and empower people. Of course, not only using the power of motivation, you also need to be a subject matter expert. When you are an agile coach, agile plus coaching, it is not enough if you are very good only on the coaching aspect. You also need to be equivalently good on the agile aspect. Both need to be combined. I have seen some agile coaches are extremely good in agile. Unfortunately, they are not good in coaching. That is the reason Some other agile coaches who are extremely good in the coaching aspect, unfortunately not so good in the agility or agile concepts, right? So both are equally important and both need to be combined. So what am I trying to say is agile coaches and the scrum masters operate from the system of a transformation. However, their contribution is measured in terms of how the teams are um, able to perform. So the yardstick to measure the performance of scrum master and agile coaches itself need to be revisited, right? That is actually one of the challenge. Okay, now let us let us talk about a practical ground level reality. As far as service industries are considered, billing is of a paramount importance, which we all know. Why? Because how many people got billed is one of the KRA, key result area, or KPI, key performance indicator of a delivery manager or a delivery head. So somewhere, okay, so what is that I'm trying to say is talking about agile conference in a five-star hotel on a weekend is something distinctively different from implementing agile inside the organization, inside the company, right? So I have worked in some of the engagements in the past wherein there is a percentage of a billing cut from the client side if there is a variance in terms of the difference between what we committed versus what we delivered. That is where I generally tell scrum masters, RTs, and agile coaches, please spend some time on looking into the RFP, looking into the statement of work of the engagement, so that you need to have a better grip on the entire ecosystem, not just on your framework called as safe, or your framework called as Spotify, or your framework called a Kanban. Those things are good to begin, but those things will not help you to flourish in the career, will not help you to thrive in the career. To just sustain in the career, yes, in your career, only framework knowledge is okay. So all that I'm trying to say is in some of the engagement there was something called a earn back and a penalty model also. If the teams are not able to deliver certain things within a specified time limit, then the vendor need to pay back some amount, or there will be a cut in the billing. Now unfortunately, sometimes this word forecasted is interpreted as a committed. Means what? When I forecast saying that in the next iteration or in the next program increment, these many story points or these many feature points or these will be the deliverable. When the team gives us a forecast, management and the client leadership team interprets this forecast as a commitment. So in such cases, together with the project manager, these scrum masters and agile coaches are also being subjugated to undue pressure. So that is where your experience should come in place and have impactful conversations and make them clearly understand, folks, there is a difference between a forecast and a commitment. At the beginning of the engagement, these are all the forecast. Of course, depending upon the dynamics, there will be a variance. So how do you do it, and how it can be done, I cannot explain in one YouTube video. So probably I will share my WhatsApp number in the comment section or in the description section of this particular YouTube video. If you like to block my time and have a conversation with me, by all means, it's okay. You can connect with me to have a detailed conversation. Anyway, these real-time capabilities and real-time insights are anyway taught by me to my mentees as part of the agile mentorship uh, program what I do. Okay, which is something I will explain at the end of this particular video. So for now, we will just keep going over here. Okay, now what is the one more problem? One more problem is this: be it a waterfall model or be it an agile driven engagement, if you are working in a multi-vendor project, right? Let's say the development is done by company A, let's say testing is actually done by company B, and your deployment and release mechanism is done by company C. Now what will happen, practically speaking, right? I am just telling the truth as it is here, without sugarcoating the bitter pill. Every guy from a vendor wanted to position themselves very smart in front of the client. So what is going to happen is, if you have a different vendor, from if you have different vendors working for the same client or the same engagement, there will be multi-vendor politics inside that particular engagement, and everyone will try to be smart, like act smart. Okay, so my say is like this: don't ever try to impress anyone. Don't ever try to impress your client manager. Don't ever try to impress your reporting manager. Don't do anything on the way of life to impress anyone. Do everything on the way of life to express your capability. There is a difference between expressing yourself versus impressing someone else, right? Why do we need to impress anyone? I will do my best, and I will make sure that I'm continuously learning and continuously improving. That's it. The game ends there. I don't do anything to impress someone. They may get impressed by my work, which is a byproduct, but I don't do the work for the sake of impressing anyone. The same mentality, I think, based upon my experience, you need to have with your client under a reporting manager. Because the moment we get into a mindset of impressing someone, we will start doing things artificially, right? Why I need to do things artificially which I don't like, right? So I don't do anything on my way of life to impress anyone. I do things on my way of life to express my potential, express my capabilities, right? And of course I will embark on the path of continuous learning and the continuous improvement. Okay, don't take steps to impress anyone does not mean that you will not keep improving. Okay, so let's be cognizant of that part. So then if you come down here, right, see, now this is one more problem. Product owners, most of the engagements in a service driven IT industry will be from the client side. If your product owner is from the client side, and if your product owner is not collaborating, is not supporting you, you cannot escalate against your client. So what I have done is, okay, now actually people may tell that, yes, Balaji, I understood the problem, but how did you solve it? Okay, one of the way I have solved that particular problem is, I had some one-on-one conversation with the product owner. Sometimes it got materialized, sometimes it did not get materialized. So what I did, I spoke to my leadership team, and my leadership team in turn spoke to the client leadership team, and we started having conversation with the reporting manager of that product owner who was not supporting us, and we changed the KRAs or KPIs of that product owner. So one of the KRA of that product owner is, you need to create a healthy product backlog. You need to have visibility for the next three iterations. The moment the goal is changed, people start responding to it differently. So there are always avenues of possibilities to get things done, provided you are willing to learn continuously. And possibly, if you have a mentor or a coach who can guide you, probably instead of having incremental improvements, believe me, you can have quantum leap in your career trajectory. Not necessarily agile, anything on the way of life. If you have a coach or a mentor who can guide you, it could be a relationship coach, it could be a fitness coach, right? If you have some expertise behind you to guide you, probably you will have quantum leap. If you wanted to find out everything on your own, because you are also having only 24 hours per day, right? So probably you can make only incremental improvements. So whether you need incremental improvements or a quantum leap, the choice is yours, right? So these are all some of the things. Okay, now just to keep going, yeah, in some of the engagements, like I have seen, clients and the senior leadership team expecting traditional reports and the dashboards for reporting purpose, but they still claim to do agile based engagements. This is where we need to improve really. So what I did, I had some calls and I did something called a strategic refactoring workshop, and we did some executive level workshops. Then we made our leadership team to understand in a better manner that traditional reports and agile driven engagement may not go hand in hand. Okay, so these are all some of the things which you can go through this particular article. Okay, now one second please. Okay, now If you are very new to, if you are very new to agile transformation, if you are very new to agile coaching, you will be only talking about agile, kanban, kanban, safe scrum, because you know only that much for now. But the point here is, by all means, this statement may seem to be counterintuitive, but then the reality is, I will never start my agile coaching by talking about agile. See, my role is an agile coach. My role is actually, let's say, my role is actually enterprise agile coach. But I never talk about agile. Why? Because no one is really interested to know about agile, but everyone is interested to solve their existing problem. So a seasoned agile coach or an experienced agile coach will be using agile only as a means to solve the problem. Okay, implementing agile for the sake of agile leads to failure of that transformation. Your agile coaching, your agile transformation should be viewed as a means to a better state of existence. Okay, what is the problem that we have? Is it either a dependency management, or a quality issue, or the release management process is not good, or the team's technical capability is not good? What is the problem? Understand the ground level problem, understand the ground level reality. Then you think, okay, to solve this problem, do I need to take some pointers from Kanban, or do I need to take some pointers from Safe? Do I need to take some pointers from a DevOps to improve my technical software craftsmanship? Like that, you may need to think. The objective is not to solve the objective is not to implement agile, right? The objective is to solve problem through agile. The moment you start solving people's problem using agile, then people will come to you, then people will start respecting you, then people will come to get coached. If you are only talking about your frameworks, why does people need you to know about Kanban, to know about Scrum or Safe? They can might as well sit in their home and watch a YouTube video, right? Or because there are tons and tons of materials on the internet. Internet gives you information but not transformation. So as a coach, you need to be cognizant about how will I use that information to do agile transformation. See, that word itself is called agile transformation. It is not about agile information, right? So sometimes we are using the words very lightly without understanding the gravity of the word. Transformation is a very powerful word, because it's like this: Siddhartha became enlightened and got transformed into Gautama Buddha. Means once Siddhartha became Buddha, there is no reversal in the process. Buddha is not going to become Siddhartha, but Siddhartha became a Buddha. So transformation is a very powerful word. Unfortunately, companies use transformation for agile initiation, agile adoption, agile transition. People try to use the word agile transformation. There is a difference between all these words, okay, which I have covered in some other videos, which I generally cover in my agile mentorship program also. But the point what I'm trying to say is, it's more of an art. It's not a science. Even responding to RFP, it's more of an art. You have different pricing models, you have different commercial models, you have different agile contracts, but which one to use where, to what extent, that comes out of experience. So I still say coaching is an art. Of course, you have some elements of science in that, like coaching models, organization change management models, fully agreed. But when you execute it, it's a skill, it's an art, not just a science. Like calcium carbonate plus hydrochloric acid gives calcium chloride plus carbon dioxide plus water, right? It's not like that, right? It's interaction with the people. So you need to have systems thinking, you need to have empathy, you need to understand the pulse of the client. Everything need to be cohesively integrated as one single thing, right? So probably this is something what I thought to share with you people. And of course, you also need to know one more thing. Whenever I'm saying the word coaching, it is not just coaching. You are not just going to ask only powerful questions. Sometimes you need to play the role of a consultant, exactly giving solutions to them. Okay, let me give an example over here. In the past, for actually one of the team, though the title is agile coach, I started immediately taking training. I started immediately creating templates, checklist, processes, and I started hand holding the team. Why? Because management told me that they have only 45 days for me to do the coaching. Whereas with some other team, I had a 90 days. Because I had a 90 days, I was playing more the role of a coach in terms of asking powerful questions, enabling and empowering the teams to find the answers within themselves. So when do you want to be like a mentor? When do you want to be like a coach? When do you want to be like a trainer? When do you want to be like a consultant? You need to be cognizant about that. It is like a shifting the gears of the car. You cannot drive the car on the same gear always, right? Okay, and one more thing, if you are an experienced agile coach, you also need to know about organization change management processes, because OCM is like preparing the soil before you sow the seed of agile transformation. Without a very good robust plan of organization change management, you cannot do wonders only with agile transformation, right? So these are all some of the points you can actually go through. Okay, and then one more important point, doing retrospectives are perfectly okay, but also you need to convert that particular retrospective into actionable user stories, so that information becomes a transformation, right? Okay, so these are all some of the things which I Okay, so what I generally do is that in my agile mentorship program, many of the learnings, many of my experiential insights are given to you as a case study based mentoring session, so that I try to simulate the real time complexity using my case studies, so that you can use that case study to get the real time feel, so that it is not only going to enable you to clear the interviews, but also give you the real time capability to really solve the problem once you join the company. Because what's the point in getting a good hike without having the capability to really solve the problem, right? Because then you may not be having peace of mind. So these are all some of the things which I thought to share it over here. Okay, all right. Now what I'll do, I'll just quickly walk you through my website, and then probably we can wrap up this particular video. One second. Mm. Okay, so this is my website, Balaji.Agile.com, or you can go to type, or just go to Google and type Balaji plus Agile. It is anyway going to take you to my social media platforms. This is my website. You can go through the different service offerings what we give in the website, and you, if you are interested to join my free webinar which I host on Saturdays, you can click on this and then register. So the website name is Balaji.Agile.com, and I will be sharing the description. In the description part, I will also share the URL. And also you can download some 50 agile interview questions which has been posted over there as part of my experience as an interview panel member for agile for multiple jobs in the past. I have also put my customized agile framework, and this is the AMP learning framework. And these are all the different levels we have: level 1, level 2, level 3, and we have different lesson plans for different target groups, because I cannot take the lesson plan of a scrum master and then give it to a agile practice head, right? Quite obvious. So I have different lesson plans. I have one lesson plan for 150 agile interview questions and answers, blah blah blah. So you can just go through this. Okay, I'm not going to explain it, respecting your years of experience. These are all some of the testimonials from there. 1 minute. So these are all some of the testimonials from there. Okay, now what I will do is, let me tell one more challenge before we wrap up the video. One more challenge what I have seen is, companies are actually taking a person as a scrum master, but they will use the person as a scrum master, project manager, and a project coordinator, also the role of a PMO, and also something like a something like a audit anchor. Whenever the audit happens, Scrum Master need to prepare. Now, once I conducted a LinkedIn post asking this particular situation, okay, why does this situation happens? The response was companies also wanted to save some cost. So they generally go for a mix of roles. So just to cut a long story short, when you are applying for a Scrum Master or applying for an Agile coach kind of a role, ask the recruiter very clearly what percentage is of coaching, what percentage it is of a delivery management. Because in a real time industry, Agile coach doesn't mean that Agile coach will be doing only coaching. Most likely, no. So what will happen is you will be like a program manager, and then you will be billed as an RTE for a safe transformation, right? So it is not enough if you're only good in the framework kind of a thing. You need to know the frameworks, you need to execute the framework implementation, you also need to have some agile project program and portfolio management concepts bit plus combination of coaching skills, right? So here if you go through, here I have something called project management stream. If you click on this, it will contain the lesson plan for project management. Similarly, if you click on here, Agile for product owners and product managers, I have the lesson plan for product owners and product managers, because a project manager is someone different from a product manager, right? So I have created the lesson plans for multiple varieties of target groups, understanding their user persona. So in the when I upload this video, I will be sharing you these particular links. Feel free to go through the links and then connect with me. Okay. All right. I'll just stop sharing this. Okay, so hope this video was actually helpful to you to expand your horizons of thinking for the time that you had invested in this video. And I hope we will connect soon in some other video. And this is the logo. You see the background screen, right? This is the logo of my Agile Mentorship program. And if you feel this video had added some value to you, one of my suggestion would be, or rather one of my request would be, feel free to share this video in your agile contact circle, like uh, like of course as appropriate, right? As appropriate, feel free to share this particular video in your agile contact circle, or in your LinkedIn post, or in your Facebook group, or if you are already a member of agile WhatsApp group kind of a thing, feel free to share this video, because I wanted to help as many people as so possible by creating an awareness on the experiential challenges in a agile world. Okay. Okay, all right, so hope we will connect soon in some other video. Cheers, bye.